Hello, everyone. I'm Kajal Reddy, a student intern here at the Leatherby Center for Entrepreneurship and Business Ethics, and I will be your host today. We have a very special guest here. We have Miguel Gonzalez III, a family business owner and current information technology business system manager at Northgate Markets. Thank you for being here with us today.
Pleasure.
Before we get right into it, could you give us a bit of history on Northgate Markets?
So Northgate Market, I joke that it was supposed to originally be an investment in duplexes, and my father always laughs at that idea. So back in about 1979, my father and my grandfather had started working really hard, saving up, and they had saved up enough money to put into to invest in some sort of a business or real estate, and so they were looking for some duplexes. So they spoke to a family friend that was a realtor and said, "Hey, we have we saved up a little bit of money and we want to invest." So and then he's like, "Well," he talked to my grandfather. He's like, "Miguel, like you have to support about at the time it was about 11 other brothers and sisters, so there's total 13 in the family." He's like, "I think a market works for you." I'm like, "What do you mean a market? We've never run any type of grocery store, and we wouldn't even know where to start." And he's like, "You know what? Your business in Mexico, you used to sell shoes. You took care of your customers well. I think you guys will be okay." And I said, "Well, we'll take a look at it." And so they went. They looked at it. It was about just a tad bit bigger than about a 7-Eleven, and so they ended up working out a deal, and they bought it. And fast forward a few years, then the vision was, hey, a market for each one of the brothers and sisters. A couple of aunts and uncles kind of laughed at my dad when he said that. And fast forward, now we have 43 markets. We have a pretty large distribution center in Anaheim, and we just opened up a food manufacturing business commissary here in Irvine. So that's where we're at.
That's awesome. Could you share a bit about your personal journey with Northgate, from your earliest role to your current one?
You know what? I still have pictures about being about 2 feet tall and standing on top of a milk crate and bagging groceries. So that's probably my earliest memory. My vacations, when everybody looked forward to getting vacations and being out of school, I had to look forward to working at the store and bagging groceries. I'm sure I probably ate more than I than I really helped, but so worked through every area of the store. Got to manage the store at 21, and then did that for a number of years. Jumped into IT. I'm the self-proclaimed nerd of the family, and then now I'm in business systems management in my IT department. So.
Great. Going off of that, I know you said you started from the bottom. Do you think students who are going to join their family businesses, do you think they should also start from the bottom?
I definitely think there's an advantage. And it all goes back to, I think, that the magic of the company. We feel like Northgate is, we're in the people business. We just happen to sell groceries. So our main focus, I would say 95% of the time, is how we're going to take our associates, how we're going to work with our associates, change management, the changing demographics, everything from hiring to executing. So it definitely gives you an advantage when you know what they're going through, what the challenge is when it comes to managing, making decisions, and really taking care of what we have close to 6,000 associates. And that's always a thought in our mind, how our decisions affect the 6,000, not just ourselves, not just a group of individuals.
So it's kind of about knowing the business inside out.
It's definitely an advantage. Some family members have made it work without doing it, and but there's definitely you could definitely tell who's managed a store, who's gone through those trials and tribulations, having to manage your P&L, having to manage hiring, firing, everything, and how well they do it depend on if they actually work with the store and you know.
I know you've been in the business for so long, but was there ever a time where you wanted to divert from the family business path?
That's an interesting one. I think I grew up so close to it, and I always hear kind of my father saying, "Hey, why?" When they ask him why haven't you retired, it's like, "Oh, I want to make sure I leave it in a good place for my kids." And so I always felt that was going to be my life, Northgate. So at some point, I made it more of a decision, and so I think mentally, I felt it was more of a choice than somebody made a decision for me.
Right.
But it's we have this entrepreneurial spirit in our family that we see certain aspects, whether it's we're traveling Mexico and we're traveling to Mercado, one of those open air markets, around the world, and you see, oh, well, how can we bring that back? So we have that, but it's always bringing it back into our business and then being able to forward integrate or backwards integrate our existing business. Definitely have some, one of my brothers is actually working on a processing plant, and because he learned that, now he's able to adapt it to the Northgate business. And so there's definitely different avenues that some are taking and some are trying. And I think it has made us stronger, and it will continue to make us stronger. And we just need to keep harboring that entrepreneurial spirit.
So are all 13 of your siblings in the family business?
Well, it's the 13, our brothers and sisters. Those are all my aunts and uncles. Wow. I have 5 brothers and sisters. So I have 3 older sisters, 2 younger brothers, all in the business, and from marketing to real estate to the baby of the family is actually the one running the operations, the store operations. It's all those bullying him when he was small. We tell him that we did a good job, so he's kicking butt there. And then my other brother's heading our manufacturing plant business. So it's in MIT. So we're on different areas, but all definitely involved very much so every day.
That's great. Northgate Markets prides itself on being more than just a grocery store, emphasizing a role as a family and a home. So how do you foster a sense of belonging and community within your employees and customers?
That's an interesting one. I just, it's not uncommon for any one of the associates to have the telephone number of the owner they work with 10, 15, 20 years ago when they were running stores. So everybody, all management knows that there's a level of respect and that everybody must follow when it comes to managing and how they go about their business. So, and then the owners, whether it's second generation, third generation, visiting the stores, and speaking to the person, from the janitor that's cleaning stuff up on the floor, and explain how important it is to make sure that we keep our floors clean for the safety of our associates, for the safety of the customers, to avoid lawsuits, etc. But everything has just making them feel important. Explain it, just remind them of all the upward mobility that's available, and just at the end of the day, just treating people like people. I see them more as family, and when I grew up, I used to call them all friends. And I know my dad he was obviously managing that store where I worked. He made sure that when he was interviewing people, he was interviewing people coming into the family that we're going to work with his 10, 13-year-old kids, and making sure that they were good role models in our lives. So we warmed up to them, and I still have friends that I've met 30 years ago inside the business. So.
So as someone who's like deeply involved in the family business, what key strategies or principles would you say that students or rising entrepreneurs should learn or keep in mind?
I think when it comes to working within a family business society, there is a lot of patience. There's going to be, and really harnessing the differences. I think you can spend a tremendous amount of time, trying to convince, siblings, other family members of ideas and approaches. And I think that energy would be so much better utilized if you took the differences and built upon them, right? Kind of have that difference of thought, and just to make sure that you're covered all your bases, just to make sure, and then from there kind of aligning to an idea. So when it comes to forming a family business, my hats go off to anybody thinking about 2-3 generations from now, because that takes somebody special, somebody very unselfish to say, hey, I want to make sure that my grandkids and their grandkids are taken care of, and how am I going to structure into something that I'm proud of and can be a legacy down the road.
Wow. So as a family business, what challenges have you faced and how have you overcome them?
As a family business, I think speaking internally in the business, it's, being in California, obviously there's a lot of regulations, and I think those are some of the challenges, but it's certainly made us better. There's been a lot of instances where we were ahead of it before the regulations, so we and it made us better employers, better more responsible. But I think transitioning each generation, transitioning to different markets it's always a learning curve, and it takes us a while. We just opened up our Costa Mesa location. It's more of a food hall, and I'm sure for the next 2-3 years we're going to be learning a lot from it, and probably not making a dime from it. Even though you go in there, it's super busy, but there's a big learning curve. But it's adapting to what the preferences are and how people want to consume. So goes back to the kind of example. It's we had our main market. It's scratch ingredients, and then we started adapting. Having kitchens inside the store for the time-strapped customer or people that didn't know how to cook. And now that food hall is basically that at a grander scale, and we have a restaurant in there in case you don't even want to do that. So it's just all the different areas. So we've always taken things positive, everything that's kind of may seem as a negative or it's impacted it, we've learned from it and said, hey, it's going to make us better.
Definitely need to check out the Costa Mesa location.
I'm telling you.
But I guess speaking from experience, when I was growing up in India, I had a lot of friends who were in family businesses, but it felt like they were forced into it more than, like it's something that they wanted to do. So what are your thoughts on that?
That's an interesting one, because I think I went through that for a while, and a few of my family members, cousins and brothers went through that, and it's a hard transition, because culturally, and I think you can attest to it. It's a level of respect, right? You don't want to disrespect your parents. You don't want to respect, by going and doing your thing, and especially a family business. Somebody was truly, really unselfish to say, hey, this is going to be yours, and all my hard work, instead of cashing out and taking a vacation for the rest of their life. So it's how do you say something that's apparently selfish and say, I don't want in the business, but I think it's very, very much important that everybody follows their passion. And I think, in a lot of family business, there's that ability to bring your passion in some way, shape, or form to the business, or spin off something from the business into your passion. So, a few years ago, I had the conversation with my father. He said, "I just want you to be happy. I want you to follow your passion. I want you, to really your gifts in life to really buff those out and make sure you shine." And I do the same thing for my son. So it's important for being a family leader to making sure that you're always having a conversation, because I don't think you want anybody in the business that just feels like don't have that option. So it's definitely very real, and there's numerous books and things that I've read on it. But at the end of the day, I think everything has to be a choice for it to work out and work out well.
My family doesn't have a family business, but I know a lot of them wanted me to go into a different profession than what I am now. But then my grandpa always used to say, passion's the biggest thing. So, if you have the passion for it, you can do it.
It truly is. I mean, and I think, the company that the family business, it's a testament to that. It's, we had a passion for being people person, and just treating people with respect and dignity. And we just happen to sell groceries. And I think when you follow your passion, everything becomes easy. You're much more positive. You attract that positivity, and you're just generally a happier person. And it's no fun going, being forced or feeling forced to anything. So your grandpa had the right idea, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So looking ahead, what do you envision for the business?
So right now, we're really, really being unapologetically, a Mexican supermarket. And when I mean to Mexican, it's not just think of Olive Garden. When you go to Olive Garden, you want the taste of Italy. You want to they sell you the idea you're going to go into Italy, and that's what we want. When you walk into Northgate, we want to take you back to Mexico. Whether you're from Mexico or you're visiting one of our stores, we want you to feel like you're in Mexico. We want to shock and awe everybody to say, hey, this is awesome, right? Go to Mexico with the safety of not stepping outside your country. So whether it's taste, smells, visuals, we did a number of murals here in Costa Mesa. We have live music on the weekends. So that's kind of where we're just being more we're being more unapologetic when it comes to, hey, well, let's cater to what our strengths are, and we put food out there to sell that we would eat, or that's on our table on a daily basis. So giving that experience to everybody else, I think it's a huge impact, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be proud of your culture, proud of where you're coming from. So
that's a wonderful idea. I mean, most of our generation now always looks for something authentic and authenticity. So that sounds exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah, you don't need to travel. You want, and it's beautiful. I have a cousin that she just came from Mexico a few years ago, and she's like, I had to learn to cook all these foods from the city I'm from. I'm like, why? She's like, because I want to relive it. I want to remember what it's like to be there. And so being able to do that to your core customer, but then to all the food explorers to say, hey, what is I don't know, what is a chicharrón supposed to really take care of? What is a guacamole? And so we'll make guacamole fresh right there. You want it spicy, we'll make it spicy. You want it more tomatoes, or whatever the case is. But it's, if you want to relive that, we're definitely that destination for that.
That's awesome. So this is my last question for you for today. But finally, as a leader in a successful family business, what legacy do you hope to leave behind, both in the business and also for other entrepreneurship?
I think, like I mentioned before, I grew up with a lot of people within the business and people that still work there. And I have such a soft spot for them. And I think I got that from my father. And I know a lot of my brothers and sisters and cousins all do the same. So it would have to be something with making sure that there is taken care of, as having that reciprocal loyalty, and building on that profit sharing with them, and making sure that that we're serving our communities and we're taking care of our family and our associates. So being able to build on that, being able to teach that to my kids, to work from the bottom up so they can sweat the same sweat that they're helping make decisions on, and then being kind individuals that are looking after our associates. I think that's the legacy I would like to leave behind, is being able to achieve a 100+ year company but most importantly, it being run really well to where every single associate's happy and proud of working in our company.
That's beautiful. I'm looking forward to that. But that's all the questions I have for you for today. Thank you so much for making the time to come here and to share your experience. How do you feel?
It's definitely, this is not what we do every day, but it's nice to be able to share and being able to just sit back and just what's our purpose and how we're working towards that purpose. And I think this being a lead part of this is huge. This is our future.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Just a quick thank you to our sponsors, ClickMo, for helping us film the video today. Thank you to Chapman for giving us the opportunity. Thank you to Leatherby for also getting the opportunity to us. I also thank Cynthia West and Mario, and of course, my host isn't here, but Benjamin Jady for bringing me onto the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you.